Are you a shy person who wants to get rid of that shyness? Well, you're not alone. There's a lot of people out there who want to get rid of their shyness, including me. Now, anyone who knows me knows that I've been the shyest person for the longest time. Ever since I was growing up, people would always ask, hey, why don't you talk more? Oh wow, you talk? You know, I was always that kid in the class who never wanted to say anything. I was that kid in the class who never wanted to raise their hand because that meant people were going to stare at me. So sometimes I didn't even do it. I was that kid who hardly ever spoke my mind. I was a kid who hardly ever went for whatever I wanted to. And that kid is still me to a certain extent. Now I realize that a lot of the components of my personality from before and currently today are holding me back to a certain extent. Usually when you're shy, you don't do what you want. You don't stick up for yourself. You tend to stay quiet and you tend to not want to go out. You tend to just be reserved and you tend to kind of just want to be in your own space. And I've been there. I'm still kind of there. I'm trying to work on things. And today's video is really about doing 3 things that you could start doing today that could lessen your shyness and help you become more of a social person. Now, keep in mind, I actually did these 3 things today and I'm going to share them with you today. I went to the mall, I went up to multiple girls and I asked them for things. I asked them for different kinds of things that would bring me out of my shell and that would make me do things that I would never have done beforehand. Things that I would have been too scared to, things that would have caused me social anxiety. So to get this list started, we're gonna start off with number 1. So the number 1 thing you can start doing to help get rid of your shyness is just by asking random people for directions. So this is what I did today. One of the things that I did was basically that in order to help myself talk more, help myself get me out of my shell, I went up to random people and asked them for just directions to places that I already knew where they were. I just wanted that feeling of asking someone and basically, but I wanted that feeling of reaching out to someone who I had no idea who they were and kind of getting over that anxious feeling of thinking, what were they gonna say to me? Were they gonna blow me off? Or were they gonna actually help me out with the directions? Now let's take a look at the example that I have for you here.
Do you happen to know where Uniqlo is?
Sorry?
Uniqlo? Or it's like a Japanese store that's here? I'm not from here. I was wondering if you knew where Uniqlo is at in the mall.
Uniqlo?
Yeah, Uniqlo. I think it's called that.
I
No?
don't know. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Now, judging by that, that was my first ever interaction doing anything with a stranger in public or in the mall or anywhere really. So basically what I did was that I basically asked her, hey, where is this store that I have shopped there before? And I just said thank you and I went about my day. And that was honestly more nerve-wracking than you thought, because with these challenges, I really urge you, if you're a male, to go ask people of the opposite sex. Don't ask people directions or don't ask them for things that you don't really feel intimidated by. If you see a really pretty girl, if you see a group of girls, you want to try to go for them because for one, it's one of the things that scares you the most is probably talking to a lot of pretty girls. And then the other thing is it really desensitizes you to basically fearing what they would say. So yeah, it could be a little bit awkward. Yeah, there might be a little bit awkward pauses and you might feel weird afterwards, but one of the things that you get from this is that you're basically opening up yourself to ask questions and maybe have a conversation here or there. So the second thing you guys can do to help your shyness in social situations is basically giving a compliment, giving a stranger a compliment. Now this could be a guy or a girl, an old lady, a little kid, basically anything with their shirt, their shoes, their pants, anything that they have on, be like, hey, I like that thing. And this is what I basically did here at this store.
Excuse me? Hi, where'd you get that shirt? It's really cool.
This one?
Yeah.
From a concert.
Okay, yeah, because like I wanted to get something for my sister that was kind of like that, so it was like really cool.
Oh yeah, thanks. It's Foster the People. So I got this at this one.
The concert? Okay, cool. Thanks.
Now if you guys see there, she had a Foster the People shirt. So I basically complimented her shirt and I told her that, I was thinking about getting it for my sister when, I wasn't. But to make things less awkward, you want to have like a plan or something to say, because if you just go up and say something and then they say, oh yeah, I got it here, and then you have nothing else to say, it can get kind of awkward. So even if you kind of have to lie a little bit, it's one of the things that helps lessen the anxiety and it helps lessen the awkwardness with these conversations. So that was number 2, and that really helped me because one, and it helped too that she was pretty, because I would never have gone up to a girl who's that attractive any time of the day at all, because knowing me, I tend to be a shy, reserved person and I have never been that great with women in the first place. So the great thing about doing these challenges is that they kind of force you to go attack whatever you're fearing when it comes to women, social anxiety, talking to another stranger, seeing how those situations play out. Now the final thing you guys can do to help your shyness is basically going for the nuclear option, and that is asking a girl for her number. Now, obviously this applies to girls too. If you're shy and you see a guy that you like, maybe go up to him and ask for their number. If nothing happens or if there's just an awkwardness, that's fine, because honestly, you will never see that person again. This is something that I have never done. And to give you guys a brief personal story of mine, basically there was one time when I was 14 years old, I was a freshman in high school. There was this girl I liked, right? I asked her friend, hey, is your friend single? And her friend was like, oh, do you want me to hook you up? And then we were in PE class and me and her friend were sitting next to each other in our rows. And her friend is on the other side of the PE class. So she yells out, hey, do you think he's cute? And basically she was like that. And then basically what happened after that is that we met up, we talked, I went to her table, I talked and socialized with her friends for a bit, but I could tell that she wasn't really into me. She wasn't giving me any attention, she wasn't talking to me. She just kind of left me there with her friends and then she kind of went off and did her own thing. And after a while, I just got the point and just, left because I knew I wasn't wanted there and I knew she wasn't into me. But that moment in that instance, that really forced me to kind of shut down and see things very negatively. Like after that, I told myself, you know what, I'm never gonna go ask a girl out. I will never share my feelings for a girl because I never want to go through this again, because I didn't want to go through rejection again. And honestly, that's true. I never went for anything I wanted to in high school. I rarely ever went for anything I wanted in college, except for my girlfriend. But even then, my friend had to ask out my ex-girlfriend through text because I was too afraid to do that because I didn't want to put myself out there. And that's one of the most dangerous things you guys can do, because if you don't go for the things you want, chances are another person is going to take the things you want and you're going to go and beat yourself up because you weren't there to take an opportunity. And if you get shut down, that's totally fine. You get shut down, but you can live with the fact that you at least tried and you know that you did what you could to get what you want. And that's the whole point. And that's what I want to show you in these clips.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Hi, I'm sorry. I think you're really pretty.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. I was wondering if you ever wanted to hang out sometime, if you don't have a boyfriend.
I do. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Just wanted to ask. But take it as a compliment.
Oh, you're sweet. Thank you.
That's okay.
Now, as you saw, I just got denied. She had a boyfriend and I asked other girls there and they had boyfriends as well. But if you see their reaction, when I asked them for their number, if they wanted to hang out, basically they didn't sneer at me. They didn't say, ew, they didn't do anything like that. They smiled, they liked the compliment, and they said, oh, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend, I can't. That was it. That was the worst thing that could happen. A lot of times in our mind, when we kind of put in our head what happens if we go up to a girl, we kind of think of the worst thing possible, like she'll probably be like, ew, no, I will never date you, or she would just walk away, or things like that, which might happen, but at the end of the day, if it does, you kind of just have to brush it off and be like, all right, on to the next one. And that's what I kind of learned, and that's what I am learning as of now to overcome this shyness. Stop being shy to the point where you're not going out and getting the things you want, whether it's in a job, a raise, a girl, friends, social settings, because right now I feel like I could be improving on so many aspects of my life, socially, relationships, things like that. And I'm barely starting to realize that, and I want to give you guys a quick glimpse of how to do that. And I'm no master, as you guys saw from the videos, I'm barely starting to do this. Today was my first day ever doing that. Today was my first day ever recording myself in a social setting, going up to random people. And it felt pretty good to honestly do that and desensitize myself when I see those things. You're not gonna feel calm and confident after 1 or 2 tries, it takes a long time. So if there's one thing to take away from this video is don't fear rejection, because rejection happens to every single guy. Don't fear going up to someone who you find attractive, because chances are there might be a chance you could actually talk to them and maybe get their number. And also, don't be afraid to stick up for yourself, and don't be afraid to go out there and have some fun and meet new people, because if you don't do that, you're gonna feel a pretty lonely and unfulfilling life. And one day you might realize it might be too late to change that. So it's better to start now, whether in your 20s, your teens, in your 30s, whatever. Maybe start breaking out of your shell so you can go for what you want and do things that you enjoy and going after things that you want in your life. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will be back with more of these types of videos because one, I found them very challenging and very fun as well, and I'm sure you guys can get a lot of insight from these types of videos. So thank you guys again, and I will see you guys next time.